What's up, guys? All right, so today we got a request from Dingo wants us to go over kicking in taiji. All right, well, here's how I look at kicking in taiji. I guess we'll just go through the beginning of the form and we'll go over it as it comes along. Okay, so there's a lot of different kicks. You have snap kicks, stomp kicks, and thrust kicks. Okay, basically what they're on. And then you also have a swinging kick. When you first start the form, the very first move in the form, when you take this step, okay, that's actually a kick. The whole leg checking game is another thing that people have to come and understand. There's a lot that's completely lost in the leg fighting. Like you see in the old Kung Fu movies and they're doing all this stuff. There's actually a lot of usefulness to that. Okay, it's a little exaggerated for show, you know, dramatic, but that does happen, and I've used that many times. So you guys are looking at the form. When you first make the step, if someone's here, you could be kicking them in the ankle, you could be stepping on their foot, trapping the leg. Okay, so let's start this way. When you go in this way, that can be step of the toe this way. Depending on what style you're doing, so I've seen all kinds of variations. But your first sliding step is a side kick, believe it or not. Okay. All right, fine. When you go here in the beginning of the most young forms, this is also a kick. So every time you turn to a position when you're in a cat stance, you should think of this as a marker for some kind of front kick. Okay. But just in that leg checking game, that toe, if the guy's foot or leg is there, and you put your foot down like this and you press on their leg on a side angle. I wish I had a partner to explain this, but I'm sure some of you guys who trained have seen this done, where you take the foot and you're going to crush or press on an off angle and collapse the leg. Okay? So you're going to see that happening many, many times. So every time I get into a position where I'm double weighted on a hip in the cat stance, I'm looking at this as a marker for a front kick. Okay? Now, about kicking above the head. There's nothing wrong with kicking above the head. The idea is that you don't want to lose your central equilibrium. So, the traditional Korean side kick, when it goes towards the head, you're leaning outside and you're creating the counter teeter battles. It would probably be outside the scope. Field kick also, when you're trying to keep the central equilibrium. But kicking above the head would be fine as long as you do the no shadow kick. Okay? And what that really means is that when you throw your kicks, there's no tell in these four corners. Your head doesn't move and these corners don't move. So if I'm going to throw a front kick, if I put my foot forward, you don't know if I'm stepping or if I'm going to throw the kick straight at you. Okay? So most people, when they go to throw a kick, there's going to be a lot of twisting the body, the hands move. If I'm here and I just throw the kick like this, when you're in that fighting ring, it's very difficult to see it. So as long as you can maintain your central equilibrium, right, your center pillars, kicking above the head's fine. And this is going for most of traditional karate and taekwondo also. Right? So you have your press, or I forgot what you call this, but it's basically like you're putting your foot down the gas pedal of the car and you're either stomping on someone's leg to trip them up or to press on their foot to lock them in position. So think of like, guy tries to come in with a left hook, he oversteps and his foot's right here. And I step on his toe. Alright, and I put my knee into his knee, kind of thing. Right? Just an idea. Okay? When you turn here, here's your knee. So a lot of these ideas are incidental strikes, or strikes of preparation, incidental, and strikes of opportunity, right? Strikes of preparation, right? So basically, I'm in a set position he runs into. I'm prepared. He runs into his force. Gets the elbow, he gets the knee from running in. Okay? When I go to make the first step, there's a knee. There's a marker for a knee, right? There's also the fact that because I'm lifting my leg and I'm double weighted on this one side, I now have the ability to throw that front kick if I need it. Okay? Now the front kick that is normally used, there's two of them. It's the ball of the foot and the heel. So you'll see sometimes when I throw the stomp kick, it's from the heel, not from the toes, not like a T. Depending on who's teaching and where you're getting the lineage from. I've seen both. Okay? So I've seen where it's a flat foot and you're kicking at the bottom of the foot, and I've seen it where it's the ball of the foot and you're kicking like a T and you're pushing through. Okay? So we got that, yeah. So basically, we got that leg checking stuff. Okay, from here we have again more leg checking. He's starting to kind of get prepared to check. Okay, here's my knee. See if he runs in too close, he gets the knee. Okay. Now, you could also think of it what I used to teach like this, was that you have the front kick available and then you have the heel kick available afterwards. In the high level of traditional karate technique, you can throw more one kick. The leg is up. So the easiest set for a double kick is the front snap to front thrust, because you're here, you're already there. It's like you're already there. So if the other front kick doesn't work, you get the push kick just to get him to back up, or we give you space. Okay? If he does the damage to take him out, great. Okay? So here, notice that my level doesn't change. Okay? I want to keep this pretty balanced. Not just so he can't read me, but the idea of how we fight is we're throwing our body mass into these four corners. Even if I bring the four corners to my elbow, my shoulder, I'm still using four corners. Okay? So what's happening is through rotation and shifting, we're going to throw our mass, or the fluid in our body, and the inertia, into a limb. So when you displace one of the counterweights, for instance, like my head weighs 10, 20 pounds. If my head's over here, but I'm trying to punch over there, I have 20 pounds going this way, and 30 pounds plus the velocity, everything going that way. I'm having this, it's power against itself, right? Whereas if I'm putting my whole body into something, that's my weight behind it. So you put the weight behind the punch, which is what the main training focus of Tai Chi really is, putting your weight behind things. That's really the point of practicing Tai Chi, in my opinion, why it was started, was to make my hands heavy. That was the whole point, so that when I touch someone, just when I touch them, like, oh shit, I don't want to mess with this fucking dude. Okay? So, with that idea of having this counterweight, making yourself heavy in a certain place, how do you throw the mass into the kick? Okay? Am I going too far with this? So I'm trying to make sure I'm giving you something that's bite-sized, comprehensible, right? Today's Tai Chi chat. Chi chats, we should call this shit. Okay? So, here's our water. Here's our parry, block, whatever. And if you need to, you can throw the low kick to the kneecap. Okay, throw it to the balls, throw it to the sternum, throw it to the jaw. Okay, depending on what happens. Right? That knee, so check, knees up, fine, step in. Now here again, I have that front toe kick that I kick up in his kneecap, and then I stomp down with my heel and take that space and press down. There's a lot of little kicks that are happening at this level, and when you do this to somebody, especially in a street fight, I've done this many times, where I'll kick somebody right in the shin bone and I'll graze up their shin. As I'm coming up to them, I'm like, my hands up like this, all right, what's up, and I do this to them, and they don't know exactly what to expect, and they get that fucking shin graze, and I do that a couple of times, and then they'll fucking limp it, and then pop them with the side. So, little stupid things like that. But anyway, how that would work incidentally is that, when I say incidentally, like these things that happen during the form of an accident, when you're walking, someone comes to collide with you and you incidentally do this because he comes in, he scrapes, you get hit with the kneecap, you get hit, you're stopping his foot, you're putting this as a blocker. Okay, I'm going to make contact with the opponent. That's another thing I'm trying to explain this. Because of the way people look at the form, and you're doing push hands all the time in this competition thing, you're not thinking about warfare and colliding with people, and he comes at me because it's a form, it's an instant of clash, right? So I could be here, and then he goes and throws that punch this way, and I roll this way, I'm in ward-off. See what I'm saying? So if I cover up and roll this way, I'm in ward-off. Now, if I grab it, I have an underhook, or if I grab whatever it is, let me digress, okay? Going back to throwing power into stuff. So, we were throwing about loading stuff and just balancing. I had my head on one side, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so we have the weight loaded on one arm. Same we're doing with the foot. We don't want to just balance it, the weight to load to the foot and have the ground pass. So if I'm going to throw the kick, when I do this one arm, golden cock hands on one leg posture, it should feel like I have 2 feet on the ground. You know what I mean? And when I throw the force, I should feel the same as in the exercise I was spending on in the last video about pressurizing my body. I should have the same contact pressure internally with my foot as I do with my hands. So, because my hand and my feet, my foot's just your arms are just legs upside down. Okay, so what you do with your hands, you should be able to do with your feet. You should be able to fudging and all your stuff with your feet also. Most people are too lazy to train all that stuff. Okay, so we got those two kicks over here to check. Anything else that happens here? Okay, so for me, every time that my form, I have to add double steps, okay? So my form is a bastard form of every single teacher and every single person I play push hands with. I took a technique and I added, so I have it's a notebook, okay? So I can remember all the techniques that I've learned from other people, okay? But in my form, and you see this in a lot of styles, I think some move styles, some young style, they have the back step. The less popular style, okay? You have this extra step. So every time I double load this way, to me this is a marker for a back kick of some sort, okay? So every single time I double step in, and my power is this way, not to transfer my power this way, I have the clear space. So as I step back in the form, I step back at that slight angle, so that someone's behind me, I'm going to step on him and bump into him, and create space. Again, programming incidental defense and offense. Incidental meaning just as when I'm walking, if I'm walking through like this, someone's going to run into the spear, right? So during the form, these incidental movements they add up, so that when you're in these little clinches and these little like scurries, you bump people in those positions. So, because I want to show you the stomping in after brushing in. So it's a little left of the kick, but it's fine. So here you have knees, you have kicks. So every time it's a step to me is an opportunity to throw the kick. I don't really see why you shouldn't. So going into the steps around brush knee, right? So we go to this, and I consider this turn a kick. So when you do the weighted turn, or if you do the lifted turn, they both have a combat application. So the weighted turn, if his leg is here and I go behind him like this and then press forward, it's like I'm going to trap his leg and I'm going to press into the corner of his leg and throw him down. So just from here alone, this to me is a kick. It's a leg attack. Then I come with this knee. This is also a kick, because you can knee him the same way with a Muay Thai kick. You can knee him in taiji, the forelock from all the whatever the hell, I forgot what it is, but the IT band over here, right? So you knee him here. Then from here, do that same opening thing. But in older styles, you see this trampling. So you'll actually have what's called a reverse roundhouse kick in Taekwondo, right? Reverse roundhouse kick is when you throw a front kick basically this way, with your foot turned out, okay? But in these styles, what they're doing is checking the leg and opening the person up, or hitting them with a cross stomp and taking that space. So you have that trampling effect. These are like little things that are missing, people forget about in the form, okay? So like that. So here, when I do needle C bottom, right? If we're dealing with the traditional application where the guy's grabbing me and I do like the Aki Jiu-Jitsu sword hand, you've seen this before, right? Guy's coming down. I don't have to bring him down this way. I can bring him down this way, because I'm going into the cat stance. So when I'm going into the cat stance, I'm bringing his head down. I can bring his head into my knee. So needle at C bottom. Here's another one right here. As I'm lifting this leg, I have his arm, and I'm going to yank his arm, and his head's going to come right here. So I don't have to bring him over here. So here's another kick. Okay? So from here, I go over the head, blah, blah, smash, smash, knee. Okay? Okay, this is the next one's. So I'm just trying to figure out what's next. We have the front, this is single whip. Okay, fine. So here's something interesting. So we're at single whip going to fist under elbow. Okay. When I come here, because my energy is rotating, I can throw any of these rotating kicks or a front kick if I want to break the rotation. Okay. When I make the second step, because I'm stepping, I can do a kick because I have to load this way. Okay? So like anytime you have like these shifting steps, you can add the kick. Right? So if I wanted to before I step, I can throw the kick here. Right? This, not this. Fine. He also had a question about going low in snake creeps down. And I'm like the worst person to ask. I have not trained so damn long. Alright. So, I think the first problem going low is the positioning of your hips. So to make sure you're at the correct angles, and the front leg can rotate. Now I used to be able to go really, really low, okay? I'm not in good shape. So the front leg should rotate, and then this one should rotate. Now, some styles you'll put this on the ground. I'm not gonna do that because it's kind of dirty. But notice that, okay, so I'm here, all of my rotation happens at the same time. So that all my joints are in a line. Okay? Now obviously you have to have some, hamstring flexibility to do that. It's not gonna happen otherwise. I can't help you with the basic stuff. That's just putting the work in. Yeah. To be honest, like the last couple of years I decided to not really train because I spent 30 years or more training consecutively. So now I'll just do the form, a couple days until I keep my maintenance up. But my mind needed a break from the constant, the COVID thing gave me a reason to hide in the mountains. I mean, I train, but I'm not training like 2 hours a day like I was doing it, But anyway, so one more time, I guess we were here. So I try to connect all the dots, make sure that my hip stays relaxed and open, everything's pivoting properly. I sit down, from here I roll, and then from there I'm going to roll this way and then push myself 45 degrees up. This is how I do it, okay? You can't go super crazy with it and roll this knee on the ground and do all this crazy competition. That's stupid. You're never gonna do that in real life. All right. What else we got? So, where the hell are we? We just did this. Failure weaving shuttles. So, failure weaving shuttles. There's a ridge hand as you set this up. So right here, you have your ridge hand setting this up. This is so perfect to follow it around us. It's just so perfect. It really is, because the energy is just rolling that way. It brings you out of the traditional standing equilibrium, but it's there if you want it. Okay? This one, so you do the turn. Right? This is just perfect for a crescent kick. Okay? This is setting it up, put it right in the Billy Jack move. You ever see that? I take this foot, put it right on that side of your face, and a damn thing you can do about it. Okay, so you got the crescent kick. Where the hell are we? Sorry guys. Let's do this one. Okay, go back. Then we got this. When you see Stepping Up 7 Stars, and you get this uppercut. Because remember, that's what's so crazy about this is that the same move can be like a boxing move, it could be a grappling move, or it could be some kind of like tearing, dislocation, bone break thing. So when you see this, and then you see this little kick up, I know in the form it's nice and slow. You see people doing it all like gentle. What do you think you're gonna do? Oh, please, sir. And you're gonna pat his clothes and take his wind off his jacket so it's come on. You know what I mean? It's coming up. Whack. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, over here. This is a low roundhouse kick, right? Now the crescent kick, there's 3 ways to do a crescent kick. You have the swinging leg, you have the snapping leg like I showed before, and then you have a snap with a swinging drop. The swinging leg could be used to hit somebody, but generally it's used as a block to check a kick or check like a bat or a knife or something. So when you see these kind of swinging legs, it's more like somebody has something in their hand and you're trying to pass it over. Or someone's doing a roundhouse kick and you check it with the kick. So you actually kick his kick and you kick it at the off angle, okay? So this is stuff that's lost, okay? It's not that hard to do either, but it's brutal because it's not safe, and when you're constantly kicking each other's kicks at off angles, people get hurt and you can't continue to spar, you can't do sports, so this is not popular. Don't do it. Okay, so, oh, we're fine. Well, we're finding here, and now you gotta do this kick. So here they'll tend to do the hit both hands, whatever, okay. Most important thing is you keep your spine straight, yada, yada, yada. But the idea is that what do you think about point of impact? So reference point of impact, when I make contact with the opponent, do I have the ground path and closed kinetic chain? Do I have this pump feeling inside all of my hinges every time I hit somebody? Because that's really what the point of Tai Chi is. Getting that feeling, the energetic feeling to go into all your techniques. All right? Some people will say that with Tai Chi you're only training qualities and energies, and that the techniques don't really matter. What I'm saying is that someone with really good technique is going to bust you to fuck up with your energy bullshit. Someone with really high, you have to have a really high level of energy, and then on top of it, baseline internalized subconscious technique of structure to stop someone with the technique, okay? No, but then if you take someone with the energy levels and then they have handsets, like really good Wing Chun, Tai Chi handsets, Jingyi's, like stuff like that, we up close, that's scary fucking dude. But you want to bring that concept into your kicking power. So maybe I'll show the brick stand. There's gotta be other videos of people doing the old like Chinese style, the brick standing, the stone lock. You guys gotta see that stuff. I shouldn't have to show it. But you can do is here I have a circle here, a circle here, a circle here, and a circle here, okay? What I used to do is I would take a quarter or a dime in different positions where targets would be according to my height. So my imaginary opponent's always my height, okay? And I would tape targets, set them, trachea, floating rib, ball, and then I would practice pointing to the targets, okay? So we're in this one. So here, by shin, knee, okay? Bang, 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 okay? Now, I would practice isolated pointing. I practice full strike kicking. Practice one target, okay? So obviously you just practice one target over and over again. And what I'm trying to do is keep my balance, check your everything's connected. When you have a bag or someone like a partner, you practice having your ground path. So I hit and I make sure I have my structure. So that this guy was to try to choke the leg, I push, so he's gonna get pushed off, I'm not gonna fall back. Okay? So I think that's it. Anything else? Yeah, so I think the cool stuff to take away from this would be, think about the wrestling game and how you're using low mini kicks, these foot placements to intercept and jam up the opponent, hit them. Think of all the extra knees that if I do rollback and then prepping the step, I have that knee available, I have this knee available, okay? Every time in the cat stance, I have a front kick available. Every time I shift weight to the double front, I have a back kick available. And make sure you have the ground path, keep your central equilibrium as best you can. When there is a counterbalance, if you have your central equilibrium, you're going to feel like you're going to get snapped back to it anyway, which is why Taekwondo, the old styles anyway, they worked and you didn't see people falling all over the place. Alright, that's about it, man. I hope you enjoyed.